Have you ever done any research on dimensions and after you watch numerous videos attempting to explain what it actually is, you find yourself even more confused? I mean, most people can explain our basic 3 dimensions, but when they get to the 4th dimension and beyond, I don't know about you all, but they kinda lose me. Welcome to Back to the Basics, where you learn facts, hope you embrace it. Watch, like, share, bring in awareness. Watch, like, share, bring in awareness. I'm fearless. Welcome to Back to the Basics, where you learn facts, hope you embrace it. Watch, like, share, bring in awareness. Watch, like, share, bring in. Most of us are aware of the first 3 dimensions, for it is the dimension that we're most familiar with. The word dimension is from the Latin word dimensionem, which simply means to measure. And by measure, we mean the ordinary dimension of space, which has length, width, and height. And it includes thickness and circumference. But before we build on the 3, let's first concern ourselves with what came before. And I'm saying that because dimensions start from the highest state of existence, and then it descends down into the lowest states in which we reside. By applying sound right reasoning, we can conclude that the highest dimension must be the 9th dimension. We come to this conclusion because there is no number higher than 9. All other numbers thought to be higher, like 10, 11, and 12, and so forth, are merely compound numbers, for they are composed of the numbers from 0 to 9. Many don't know that numbers have significance, and 9 is a very meaningful number, for it's symbolic of heaven, hell, creation, and birth. 9 is the number whose square root is 3, a number which is symbolic of the 3 dimensions that I will further explain. 9 is a magical number, for when multiplied, it reproduces the same figures. These same figures, when added up to down and down to up, their sum equals 9. Notice how the sums are the inverse or in reverse sequence of each other. For example, 9 times 2 is 18, and 8 plus 1 equals 9. Or 9 times 5 is 45, and 4 plus 5 equals 9. And we can do this with all the multiples of 9. 9 is the number of months in a period of pregnancy, which is the formation of physical life. Universal knowledge disclosed to us that there were 3 creations: original primary creation, secondary evolutionary creation, and ghostational tertiary creation. Now, primary creation, being the original, was performed by a non-ether, whose science is Wunuwap, or in present times, Wusabat. Non-ether is the combination of all existing gases of nature. Nothing can be as powerful as all existing gases. Therefore, non-ether is the most potent power in the omniverse. 9 to the 9th power of 9. Now add it up without a computer, and you will see that it will take you a lifetime to find the sum. And so, in the scale, subject to measurement, it stands to the highest reasoning that 9 is the highest dimension. And the higher the rate of vibration, the higher the manifestation of life that will occupy that state of existence, with the ability to travel interdimensionally at will. So, 9 is the symbol of completion, and thus, perfection. Now, because dimensions are not actual divisions of the phenomena of the universe, but are merely various degrees and forms of the universal activity, as well as spiritual life, the atoms, matter, forces, minds of humans, and the highest beings, called the Neturu, are all but degrees in one scale, and thus all, fundamentally, are the same. The difference is a matter of vibration, for all are creations of the all, and have their existence within the infinite mind of all. And so, as things slow down in mood and vibration, it gives way for lower dimensions, such as ours. And since most humans spend all of their lives in the 3rd dimension, they are plagued with the notion that their existence began physically, and anything beyond their little universe is considered science fiction. For they tend to ignore the fact that all finite things have their root in the infinite. Acknowledging this truth shall surely make them free. Now, let us address the lower dimensions. A space that has no dimension is simply a dot, which means there's no length, no width, or height. This is followed by the 1st dimension, which is a straight line, bounded by 2 dots. That means if living entities occupied such space, they would be limited to only being able to move forward and backwards. Followed by the 2nd dimension, which is a square, which is 4 straight lines bounded by 4 dots on a flat surface. 2-dimensional space has length, width, but no height. If living entities occupied this space, they would be reduced to only being able to move forward, backwards, left, and right. And this is followed by the third dimension, which we know all too well, which is the cube, having 12 lines bounded by 8 dots. The third dimensional space have length, width, and height. Therefore, we're able to move in any direction, up, down, left, right, forward, backwards, and around. There is another dimension of created things or measurements called the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension may be called the dimension of vibration and not that of time, as Einstein postulates. The reality is, everything is in motion, vibrating, and nothing is at rest. Everything is vibrating at different rates of motion in different directions and in different manner. The degree of the rate of vibration constitutes the degree of measurement on the scale of the degree of the measurement of the fourth dimension. And these degrees form higher dimensions that are interconnected but appear separated by vibratory rates. Let me give you a comprehensible example. If you were observing a two-dimensional pond that contained a school of fish, those fish would only be able to swim forward and backwards, left and right. And even though they would have eyes on both sides of their faces, they would never be able to see you. To them, in their two-dimensional world, up does not exist. And that is merely science fiction to them. These fish will be totally unaware of the three-dimensional world that you exist in just meters away from their two-dimensional pond. Now, let's say you reach down into the pond and grab one of the fish, lifting it up out of its two-dimensional world. That fish would witness the third dimension. And in this three-dimensional world, that fish would see people breathing without water. It would see people with arms instead of fins, moving about on legs with no fluid resistance. It would also realize that going up is possible. And this would be a new revelation likened to a miracle to that fish. So, you set the fish back in its two-dimensional pond. And now, ask yourself, if the fish could speak, what would it be telling the other fish? How would it explain its experience? The truth is, it would only be able to explain things in terms of what the other fish knows. But all the other fish really knows is the two-dimensional world they live in. I said all of this so that you can see that we are likened unto the fish. And thus we're taking part in a cosmic affair of a magnitude beyond all imagination to compass or language to even express. We are immersed in an unseen world of infinite intelligence, acting in a lawful, purposeful manner. The physical world, this three-dimensional reality, is but a manifestation of invisible causes, and only by reasoning from the unknown to the known, made known, will we be able to grasp the ultimate reality. I'm Kev Ray, and this is Back to the Basic. Like, share, and subscribe. Facts we stated. You wanna know something? Go back to basics. Mozart trapping was called the Matrix. The world fibrilized, yet it's hard to face it. So I spread truth, hope you embrace it. Watch like